Good morning, everyone. My name is Gerardo Lime, working with Matias, Alex, and Anuja, and on the presentation of the information system, information management and research. I'm going to talking about information systems and threats. So the agenda we're going to follow is I'm going to talk about ethics in general, how it's approach of Lime scooters, different design of information systems, which are the principal and which one are used by Lime, and security threats. It's a different approach to probably the rest of the teams because the way how it's working our system information, and also the threats and politics and some recommendation we can provide to the company. So in terms of ethics, I would say the dictionary design is like is a discipline to understand which are the goods and bad things as a society, as a person, we are talking, and which are the obligations we have to deal with that. So in terms of that approach, we can say that in terms of software, the personal privacy, access rights, and harmful action and patents are definition that in the system, information system, they need to define in order to understand and provide like a sort of legal contents, so the people can understand when you sign it something to use as a system, what you have to understand, what are your rights and what the company can do. So the privacy is talking about more like related to collect all information and what the company is able to do. The rights access is who is going to access that information, and the harmful action is more like related to deleting data and modifying information already you provide to the company. So, and patents are how the companies through the time they can be assured and be sure the information and the design of the system they have is their own, and how they can restrict the access to other companies. Talking about that one, also we have like a copyrights, which is more used in the information systems. So if you want to use a software, what you have to do is pay the patent, pay the use. It's like a sort of membership. The trade of secret is more related to how we share information between the company and someone who wants to interact with the company. Is going to be like a interaction between, if I want to do something, I don't have the resources, how I share information to someone who can support me economically. And the responsibilities and liabilities more related to the legal obligation and the cost the companies need to pay if someone or something happen, not only for the company but also as a user. The privacy and copyright is more related to how we copy and share information illegally. So the idea of the privacy and how the companies all over the world try to set up a license and a legal aspect to avoid the copy and paste of and sharing information by the internet. So in our case as users, when we sign up for the user line, we have an agreement. So we have that information on at the time we sign in for the company, all the time we are able to access that information on the website. Here, the company also on the website provide us information, and which can be also updated at the time they change the privacy information on the policy and what they can do with information they collect for you. So that is something important we need to tackle. Internal liability, talking about what happened if something happened to us and what happened if we damage the equipment for a scooter or bikes. There is a liability which is help help us as a customer to understand which are our rights and what the company can do if we damage the equipment. At the moment, in the company doesn't have any insurance. All over the world, the company hire different insurance company to be sure if something happened to us, the company can be aware of what they can do to help us, and if something happened to the company, what the company legally can act on us if we steal or paint or damage equipment. In terms of different methodologies and information system, basically the most used one are the waterfall, agile, and lean. Lean is quite new, and to understand the approach of which is the methodology the company used, I particularly went to try to apply for one of the jobs, and then I found out the methodology that they use is agile, and they also use waterfall as an old methodology. So the idea of how the company used to work is, if you want to design a software, the idea of the waterfall methodology is you need to understand everything, what you want, what you need, how you want to use it, and then you define a document. So you specify everything, and after that you start to do the design of the software. The design of the software, you reach an agreement between you as a company and the company who won and the customer who won the software, and from that agreement you say, okay, this is information you provide me, this is software that I want to work, and then I start to develop an implementation based on the design, based on all the documentation we already have. We test that software, and after we reach some position, we show to the customer and say, okay, this information you provide to me, this is software we agree to design, and here is the software. So you need to reach until the end to see if you need to change something or not, or if the customer agree or not, even though they can disagree what happened, but they already know through this methodology they have to wait till the end to do any modification or figure it out if something they decide at the beginning is not what they want. And then on the maintenance, the customer can request any modification, and they need to go through all this process again. That is something the agile methodology changed. So the idea is doing something in small process. So you have like a requirement from a pile, which is called in the product backlog. From all those information you have, usually you have like meetings, and you split the job in small pieces. So the idea is working interactively between you as a company and with the customer to understand what they want, what they need. So through all this process, you design, develop, test, and then you check with the customer is that is what they want. If it's not what they want, you can change, modify, and then start it again. It's quite a dynamic process. So that is going to be one of the biggest benefit you have for this methodology. Talking about security threats, basically you have nowadays the different infrastructure. Talking about the cloud computing, you used to have like a server, computers, and different devices when you can access the information and software. But now everything, all the servers, all information you store is directly on the cloud. So you have like a different process when you have like an infrastructure and service, platform and service, and software as service, based on what you want to provide to customers and how it's going to be the security is based on the control you have, and also what the customer needs to be aware related to threats, and what the company also needs to be aware about threats. So in talking about software, we can say like Gmail use SaaS type of design. Meanwhile, you have another apps like Google Apps Engines. When the software developer need to be aware about the security and all the infrastructure is talking about more like related to publish and share information on the cloud, like databases and stuff like that. So based on the information we collect and the comparison between different services, we realize the companies use SaaS cloud computing. The idea is to reduce the security from the side of the company, and if you want to use the scooter, you need to scan, so you need to be aware of, from your side, your mobile is okay to work and use the service. So the advantage is this one is like you have like a subscription. So if you want to use the Lime scooter, you need to subscribe to the service, and it's easy to access. The accessibility is better than the rest of the service. You can modify things, and the user don't need to do anything than update the software in their phone. And the drawback that they have is, as a company, you have like a lack of control because you post everything on the cloud. The security is based on the where you post and when you which service you hire in order to be aware of the security and all the databases and all the firewalls and data virus they have on the internet. And also, if you have problem with the performance on the computer, the post the software, you can have like a really big issue, and then can affect the performance of the business. So based on that architecture, we think that even though the security is more related to the side of the customer, we don't have many problems about threats us as a user, but we have problems in the company, like most of the company already have. No, we don't have issues about Wi-Fi connections or stuff like that. We don't have really huge issues about hacking because all that information and all the posting of the data is handled by other company we hire. But we need to be aware, as a recommendation to the company, in many places they change the QR codes on the scooter, so they can damage their phones from the customer, and that is something we need to be sure all the QR codes on the scooter and bikes are right, and also avoid to use Bluetooth technology because that can be an access to the scooter and bikes, and they can corrupt the scooter and bikes and damage the equipment. Any question?
All good.
Thank you.